Welcome to this special update. Last night we had a major earthquake on the Caribbean plate, and I will discuss that in the next regular update. I will do a detailed analysis on that seismic event and also the planetary and lunar geometry that preceded that earthquake. In this special update, I want to focus on the ongoing activity, the earthquake swarm on the Aegean Sea plate near Santorini. This is probably going to be a lengthy update. Please bear with me. First, let's have a look at the tectonic setting of the region. We are dealing with a couple of plates, tectonic plates. In the north we have the Eurasian plate, and in the south we have the African plate, and in the southeast we have the Arabian plate. In the middle we have the Anatolia plate and the Aegean Sea plate between Turkey and Greece. And the Arabian plate in particular pushes to the north against the Anatolia plate. We've seen the result of that, these dynamics because 2 years ago we had major earthquakes on the East Anatolia fault, 7.8 and 7.5, and this is the result of the Arabian plate pushing against the Anatolia plate. But also the North Anatolia plate suffers from that these plate tectonics because there have been series of major earthquakes between 1939 and 1999, also because of the Arabian plate pushing against the Anatolia plate. The Anatolia plate cannot go anywhere but to the west because of the Eurasian plate in the north. And it pushes against, the Anatolia plate pushes against the Eurasia plate. As a result, there is major seismic activity in the region from time to time. It is one of the most seismically active regions. If you look at the map of magnitude 7 earthquakes in the region since 1900, we see a lot of them. Most of the major earthquakes occurred along the North Anatolia fault and in western Turkey and in the eastern part of the Aegean Sea plate. We also see seismic activity in the north, that's at the Carpathian Mountains in Romania. This is also the result of the plate tectonics in the region. And in Bulgaria in 1928, we also see two magnitude 7 earthquakes. And then in 1904, to the west, a magnitude 7 earthquake. But there are also areas where you do not see magnitude 7 earthquakes. These are the so-called silent areas. Most of Greece has not experienced a magnitude 7 earthquake in the last 120 years or so. We see one in 1947 in the south, 7.3, and 7.0 in 1983 along the west side. This is along the Hellenic Arc. But on Greece itself, we have mountainous regions, and if we look at the geological setting, we see that there is pressure building from the east to the Anatolia plate on the Aegean Sea plate, and most of Greece has not experienced a major earthquake in the last 120 years. We have seen magnitude 6 earthquakes, but not magnitude 7. And sooner or later that is going to happen. Also in the southeastern part, near Crete, we don't see magnitude 7 earthquakes. But in the year 365, there was an estimated magnitude 8.5 southwest Crete, and this is because the Africa plate subducts the Aegean Sea plate. And that is happening along the Hellenic Arc. And if you are dealing with subduction, you're dealing with massive earthquakes, magnitude 8.5 and larger approximately, but it can take hundreds of years, if not longer. And that makes it very unpredictable. Also, if we look at the recent two events in 2023, to the south, the Levant, that's the Dead Sea Transform, there have been magnitude 7 earthquakes in the past, but it's also been a long time. So you can expect magnitude 7 earthquakes there as well in the near future. Exactly when? Nobody knows for sure. And then slightly to the west of the 2023 sequence, we also see a mountainous region. There have been no magnitude 7 earthquakes in the last 120 years. Also, Italy in the west, we see only 2 magnitude 7 earthquakes in the south, in 1905, 7.2, and in 1908, 7.1. In Italy, southern Italy, there is also a volcanic arc. I will just go into detail with the volcanic arcs in a minute. And as a result, this is the Calabrian arc, and there have been major earthquakes there in the past as well. In the late 17th century, 7.4. In the late 18th century, about 1783, there was a sequence of major earthquakes, devastating earthquakes along the Calabrian arc. And as you can see, in the last 120 years, only 2 magnitude 7 earthquakes, borderline low 7 magnitude. The region is probably due. And that can go up to central Italy, by the way, because there is the fault, and the Africa plate actually goes into the Adriatic Sea. That's part of the African plate. So even the Balkan can have larger earthquakes from time to time. A very seismically very dynamic area. Okay, so now let's have a look at the volcanic arcs, because the activity that we see currently, the swarming of earthquakes, is it volcanic related or is it just seismic related? Well, let's have a look here. Here we see the Aegean Sea plate, and we have the Hellenic Trench. That's the Hellenic arc. It goes from southern Turkey underneath Crete and then up to Greece. And to the north, we have an active volcanic arc. We see that on this image here. There are a couple of volcanoes. The Santorini is one of the most notorious ones. But we also have seismic activity in that region. For example, if we look at the magnitude 6.6 and larger earthquakes since 1900, along that volcanic arc on the Aegean Sea plate, we see only 3 events. That's the 6.6 in Western Turkey in 2017. We see a 7.0 to the west in 1926, and in 1956, magnitude 7.7, close to where the current swarming is going on. So is it only seismic or is it also volcanic? Possibly both. There is no certainty there. The crust is pretty thin there. We have magma chambers below. So far, I think there's no real evidence of magma intrusion to the upper crust, but that can change. I mean, the earthquakes, if they are relatively shallow, about 10 kilometers deep, they could also be volcanic related. So it's very important to keep an eye on what's going to happen in the coming time. Volcanic activity is usually preceded by magma intrusion, and we can see it coming. Earthquakes, they happen suddenly. And it is not unthinkable that a larger earthquake is going to happen in the area in the short term. That is definitely a possibility. But like I said, there is uncertainty there. If we look at the other volcanic arc, like I said earlier, we have one along the Calabrian arc in Italy. And I want to address that in this update as well, because it's equally significant. We have volcanic activity regularly, especially the Etna, of course, on Sicily. But we have the Calabrian arc, and like I said, there have been major earthquakes there in the past, and in the last 120 years or so, we have only seen 2 magnitudes, low magnitude 7 earthquakes. It's going to happen again. And it is very well possible that the next larger earthquake is not going to happen on the Aegean Sea plate, but possibly along the Calabrian arc in southern Italy. And that can also be quite devastating. It is even possible that a magnitude 7 is going to occur in central Italy. And it would be pretty devastating. In 2009, there was an estimated 6.9 magnitude earthquake further north. Italy is certainly not exempt from strong to major seismic activity. And if it has been a long time, and is certainly the case with central southern Italy, you can expect one anytime soon. This is the geological setting and seismic activity that happened in the last 120 years or so. This is what we know. There's still a lot that we don't know, because 120 years on the geological scale is nothing. For us mortals, 120 years is huge, but on a geological scale, it is nothing. So our knowledge is limited. So what I present here is what we do know. Okay, now in January, we actually recorded an atmospheric anomaly that was on the 10th, and I marked the region between Turkey and Greece, pretty much the Aegean Sea plate. And after that anomaly, we did see an increase in seismic activity. The swarming of moderate earthquakes really took off. And so it is pretty important to actually check out the latest updates on our website and social media, because we share these atmospheric anomalies. And just as with the magnitude 7 earthquake, 7.6 it was actually on the Caribbean plate yesterday night, that was also preceded by an atmospheric anomaly. We marked that particular region. It happened 20 days before the earthquake. Similar to the major earthquake in China in January, 20 days earlier, it was preceded by an atmospheric anomaly. So it is really worth checking out those atmospheric anomalies as well. It may indicate upcoming larger seismic activity in a specific region. That's the technology that we currently have. We cannot be more precise than that. We cannot say there's going to be an earthquake or a major one in 5 days in this region. That's not possible yet, and we have to accept that fact. So we try to do our best to anticipate larger earthquakes. So check out the website, check out the social media where we share these updates. This has been a pretty lengthy update. I hope that the information will be helpful. Be on alert if you are in if you live in Turkey, Greece, Italy. These areas are seismically active, volcanically active. Follow the latest news if you are a tourist, because these countries are visited by millions of tourists from around the world. Also, take the information, know what is going on and whether or not to expect volcanic activity. And you always have to be aware of the seismic risk that is in these areas. Okay, this is this special update for now. Stay safe. Until next time.